this video I'm going to show you how to make these Wonder Woman outfit cookies, so stay tuned and I will show you how. Here are things that I used: a 4-inch corset or swimsuit cookie cutter, an edible marker, white star sprinkles, lemon yellow, red, and royal blue for the food coloring. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to do is do the belt. And this is what I want to do, and the reason why I'm going to start there is that way when this dries I can go ahead and move on with my two other colors. You can start with the top part or the bottom part, whichever one you want to start with, but I do suggest starting with the middle. That way when this dries you can move on to the other colors. If you start here, you're gonna have to wait for that one to crust a little bit so you can move on to this, then wait for this to dry to move on to that. This way you start in the middle, that dries, and you can move on to both sides right after that. I have here my yellow edible marker, and this is going to help me give me a guideline and an outline for the belt. I'm going to start off here, kind of guide me to the center and put just one little dot there. I'm going to run one line on her waist from one end to the other, and then here in the center I'm just going to bring it down like this, so just like a little slope like that. So then with my yellow I have a number 2 tip, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in. And then I'm going to give it, let's say, an hour or so, just so it can completely crust. That way when I go in with my darker colors, which will be the navy blue and the red, it doesn't get any shadowing or anything like that. So that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry. This one's almost there, but I'm gonna give it a little bit more time and then we can move on to the rest. Alright guys, so while I wait for this to crust a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and do my design up here so both of those can dry at the same time. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna show you one that I did already. Is this here. I'm gonna start off with that, and that's just my version, but it's pretty close to the original, pretty close but not exactly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do kind of like a V, still with my edible marker, and then bring this line in here like that, so something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the top part, the longer part first, let that crust, and then I'm going to come back in a few minutes and do the little bottom one. So I'm just going to go ahead and outline it and fill it in. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and spread this icing a little bit. Let me turn it around so I can see my top part. And then I'm going to give it a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back and do this one at the bottom here. Alright, so I gave this a few minutes to just get a little bit of a crust, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in those 2 empty spaces. And you can do any design that you like. Just go ahead and search up Wonder Woman, and you can choose whatever design that you like. I'm just trying to make it simple. I'm all about making things simple and easy, because if I do something too difficult, then you might think it's too hard to make and you're not going to try it. So I want to make something that anybody at any level can make. So I think I like how that looks, and once the red and the blue gets filled in, it's gonna pop really nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this, like I said, about an hour and a half to dry so I can go in with my other colors. Alright guys, so this has had some time to dry. So what I'm gonna do now with tip number 2, I'm going to go ahead and fill this red part here. Now I'm gonna work with this section first and then move on to the other one. Rather quickly though, so it doesn't start crusting. And then we can move on with the blue at the bottom, add our little stars, and we should be done. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. I'm gonna move on to the blue. Alright guys, so now for the last part of it in the blue, I have a tip 3 just to help me fill out the space here since it's quite a bit. And I have my stars ready. I got a little tweezer to help me, but sometimes I find that just putting them on with your fingers is just as easy. But I'll use the tweezers. So just go ahead and fill it in. Spread it out and quickly set in your stars. You don't want to let this icing crust too fast or you won't be able to stick them on there. You still will be able to, but you want to have them kind of sink in. And if you happen to do something else and get back to it and it's already dry, just add a tad bit of icing on the back of the star and just stick them on there. Okay, so quickly just grab your stars, and there's a top and bottom part to these stars, so make sure that you have the puffier side to the top, then they have like this flat part at the bottom that is not that nice looking. So go ahead and just put them in there. You can put as many as you like. If you can't get a hold of too many of these stars, you may not want to put too many if you have like a lot of cookies to make. So just go ahead and tap them in. And that should be it. So I'm gonna let this dry, of course. I'm gonna finish up the rest and I'm gonna put them all together. I decided to add a little red star to the belt so all this up here wouldn't look so plain. And I did have some these 4th of July kind of themed colors, and I picked out the red ones. These stars here are not as nice as the white ones here from this selection. These are really nice, kind of nice quality detailed stars. These are really small and they tend to almost look like warped a little bit, so I had to dig in there and find the nicer ones. So I decided to add them on there. If you are going to do them like this, I suggest adding them on to the belt when you're doing the flooding. So just like I did here with the white ones, go ahead and do that with that one red star. If not, just go ahead and dab one little dot of icing, the same yellow one, and pick up your star and then just add it on there. If I whoa, they're just like jumping like little jumping beans. So I'm just gonna add it on there and then just let it dry so it won't go anywhere. This is why it's important to use the same icing as the back, because if it squirts out, you won't be able to tell, especially once it dries. It'll go matte and it won't, you won't see that there's icing underneath that. So again, if you are wanting to add that star on there, I do suggest doing it while the icing is wet when you're piping that belt. If not, you can do it this way. Alright guys, there you have it. It's my version of the Wonder Woman outfit. Hope you like how they turned out. Pretty easy cookie to make, right? I think they came out really neat. Alright guys, that is all for this video. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Share the video if you know someone who may be interested in these. And stay tuned for more. I will talk to you soon, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good one.